Codesignal, Arcade, File Naming. Hello everyone, my name is Joshua and I'll be solving file naming in Codesignal. Let's begin. So you're given an array of desired file names in the order of the creation. Since two files cannot have equal names, one which comes later will have an addition to its name in the form of this here, where k is the smallest positive integer such that the obtained name is not used yet, and we return that updated array of names. Anyways, you have this example. If doc, this whole string right here, this should be doc.1, image doc11, doc2. The reason why is that this value right here is updated to doc1 because it already has a doc created. But if it has a doc1 created right here, instead of updating it to 2, since it's kind of like this whole value itself, we want to update it as its own, which is doc11 right here. Now, something to also consider that the string, this example, this punitive example that we're given, didn't explain to us really well, is that, let's just say we have a situation where this doc1 is actually ahead of this doc right here. What should we do? So instead of having this solution, it's going to be different. The output is going to be doc1, doc2, then image doc. Because we can't use the doc1 name because it's already been given, but since it's still under the category of doc, and we want to follow this rules right here, then we add the 2 right here. Okay, I'm going to tell you that it's hard to explain by going it through little by little. I'm going to show you the solution that I give, and we're going to reverse engineer how I did it, just to save time for all of us. So I'm going to go to my drafts, and here's my solution. Now, it's so huge to explain, so I want to try to go over it little by little so it makes sense. One thing to consider is that I use this hash map tally because we want to find out the number of occurrences of those names that each are involved with. Hence why I want to use this tally. This helps with the naming convention with the files. Now, I'm going to go through each of the files to make sure there's no duplicates, hence why I use a for loop right here. And now I'm going to take the name, string name equals names index. Now, what I'm doing here is I'm extracting that name because it's going to participate in finding the next name that we should update it to if it has a duplicate. And it's denoted right here. So we see if there's a number of files, let's just say, does it have a value or not. In this case, if it doesn't have a value, we just initialize it with 0. I'll explain why later. And if there is a value for it, we get the number of files right here. And now, this is the important part. We want to see what is the available name we can update that file name for. This is probably not a good helper method to explain next num files, but what this does is that we iterate. You can see right here, we iterate to find what would be the right name to give that file that we're searching in currently. In this case, first we update it right away. Numfiles is 1. So in this case, if there's no match, it would just be 1, and therefore numfiles is just 1 right away. So we don't have to worry about the 0. But if it does have a match, like the previous example that I given, like we'll just say doc1 is already taken. Let me pull up this example right here. We'll just say this doc1 is right here, next word is doc. We can't use this doc1 value. That's why we have to increment it again, because we want to make sure there's no contains key where it already has that file in existence. And once we return that num files, we go ahead and append it to the tally tracker. We put the new name as part of the tracker with 1 because it has at least one file name with that name in there. And we also want to make sure that we don't have any more repeats of that same name. All right. So now let's see, tally.numfiles equals next numfiles right here. So this is the helper method again that we will make sure that we have whatever numfiles we can append to the new file name. And here, this if condition is pretty straightforward. We check to see if it already has that name created into that names array. We'll just say there's already a value that we already tracked with a tally that already has its same name. We update that name with names and numfiles minus 1. And here, update names, it looks like this. We take the name, Names index, that name index can be updated to names with the number of files within these parens names. Okay, and now we already have that name updated. We put it into the tracker, or we make sure we re-update it to make sure it has the correct corresponding number of values of the num files. And once that's done, the names is going to be continuously updated by both these helper methods, next num files and update names. And once it's done updating, we can just return that same names. So although we occupy a space which is tally, which will be about O of n, O n being where n is the number of values and names, I think we'll save space by not making O2n when we're just reusing and we're just updating the names array that we're given. So hope this explanation helps you. I'm sorry I couldn't break this down. I feel like this is kind of a big chunk question. This is a big question. It's kind of hard to explain little by little. You have to see it as, I have to show you each of these parts and we can integrate it as a whole. I think this is a quite serious question, so I can't really put a joke to it. So I hope this is helpful, guys. Maybe in the future I'll create a better video to explain it much more easier. All right, take care. Good luck, guys.